All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our Water Quality Advisory Work Group meeting here today. We have a few people in person. Thank y'all so much for being here in person with us, and then quite a few people with us virtually. I would like to take a moment to just say, y'all don't be scared. Greg is still with us. He just had a scheduling conflict. And so he will be back to be moderating this next meeting. I'm Erica Crespo, the Assistant Deputy Director of the Water Quality Division. And with me today, I have Peter Schaefer. He is our Standards and Implementation Team Leader. Rebecca Vialba, she is our Stormwater Team Leader. I have Hannah Kobels on the Stormwater team, and Monica Alba Garcia on our Stormwater team as well. And then Brian Sarant, our Land Applications Team Leader. We'll also be joined with a representative of the Industrial Permits team. As y'all can see on the agenda, we have an update from the industrial team. And so without further ado, y'all, we can go ahead and get started. Just before we do that, I apologize. Please feel free to put any questions that y'all may have in the chat. We will address them as we go through all of the agenda that we have outlined. And after each presenter, feel free to raise your hand or just say, hey, Erica, if I'm zoned out and I don't see y'all, and then we can address your questions in person, okay? Sorry for the setup, y'all. This room is a little bit weird, but we'll try to make eye contact as much as we can. All right. So I guess I'm up first. So for the Senate Bill 1289 implementation update, we're still under management review for this particular rulemaking initiative. And I do want to let y'all know that that is still ongoing. We're moving forward since the last time that we spoke about this. And the rulemaking package is supposed to go before Commissioner's agenda for publication in the Texas Register in September. Okay, and so that means that that comment period will run through that part of September through October. I don't want to give y'all exact dates based off of the timeline at this time because that's subject to change, but just know that we're moving forward and y'all can expect to see that before Commissioner's agenda in a few months, okay? So feel free to reach out to me if y'all have any questions or concerns. That is the update that I have for Senate Bill 1289. Are there any questions about that in the chat or in the room? All right, hearing none, we will move on to, we would like to also extend an invitation to everyone to attend our 24th or the 21st annual CMOM conference. It's gonna be at the Convention Center here in Austin on August 5th and 6th, so it's coming up really soon. The early registration for CMOM ends this Friday. And so if you're interested, we have a link for that in the, there's flyers over there with the agenda. And we just hope to see y'all there, okay? CMOM, the 21st annual conference is happening the beginning of August. Okay, now we can move on to Peter. Peter, would you like to talk about the revisions to the IPs that we have?
Yes, I'm not quite sure where to look, so I'll just kind of spin around every now and then. The IPs have been on the WQAWG agenda in the past quite a number of times, and I'm happy to say we plan to get the IPs on the commissioner's agenda in the fall, which will start the formal IP revision comment process. We've already had 2 stakeholder meetings in the past. One was held right here in this building, in this room. Another was held virtually. And so we've gotten some feedback from folks already, and we look forward to getting some comments when it goes out for formal comment as we get this before our commissioners to rule on moving forward with these IP revisions. The revisions include pH screening procedures. So this is something we're doing already, and this will get the procedures memorialized in our IP document. Same thing with whole effluent toxicity, reasonable potential determination. We've made updates to our appendices, including Appendix E, those are the MALs. Also Appendix D, which is the water quality in the segments. Appendix B is endangered species information, and Appendix C is flow, in-stream flow information. So Those are the plans for the IPs, and that's really all I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. Are there any questions for Peter for what he provided for us as updates on our IP revisions? I don't see any in the chat. I don't see any hand raised. Okay, well, if y'all come up with questions, feel free to let us know. We can move forward. We are going to skip past our agenda items that we have listed for Dr. Gray. Hopefully he will join us soon. But Rebecca, would you like to talk about the e-permits for the construction general permit?
Can they hear me from here?
I think so. Can y'all hear Rebecca okay?
Okay. So this update is regarding the e-permits and the construction general permit applications that are currently pending. We had to update the construction general permit applications that are part of the permit system or STEERS for both the notice of intent or the NOI and the low rainfall erosivity waiver application forms. So these have to be updated based on the implementation of House Bill 1688, which you're going to hear about a little bit later on during this meeting. But right now we have pending applications that have been paid and have not been submitted yet to TCEQ. So if you intend to complete the application process, you will need to log into your STEERS e-permits account, finish the process by submitting the application by 5 p.m. on Thursday, July 18th. So it's this Thursday. Otherwise, you will be unable to access your general permit applications after this date, and your incomplete or pending applications will be archived. Once they're archived, you cannot submit them anymore. You can only view them. On July 19th, which is Friday, we will be updating the CGP application forms. They will be released in the permit system in the morning. If you still need to submit the application after that date, then you will need to create a new application, a new NOI or a new low rainfall erosivity waiver, whatever is applicable to you, if you need to have permit coverage. TCEQ sent reminder emails through the e-permitting system last Wednesday. We also sent yesterday another reminder, and we're hoping to send another reminder this Thursday, so that if you still have pending applications that you have not submitted to TCEQ, that you do so right away. Otherwise, you don't have permit coverage. And that's the update regarding the permits, construction general permit applications.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. Are there any questions regarding our permit application updates for the construction general permit? I don't see any hand raised in the audience. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I don't see any comments or questions in the chat. And so unless there are any final objections, we will move on. Okay, Brian, what would you like to talk about as far as the CAFO GP?
Yeah, I'd like to give an update on the CAFO GP renewal, which authorizes the discharge of manure, litter, and wastewater into or adjacent waters of the state from CAFOs. We presented this at numerous updates in previous advisory work group meetings, and I'm happy to say this will probably be the final one, because a final update, because it was approved by the commissioners on June 26th. And the renewal notification letters were mailed out July 15th, which is yesterday. The renewal period begins July 20th and will end January 16th, 2025. All documents, which include the renewed GP, the fact sheet, the RTC, and forms, will be made available on the TCEQ website pertaining to the available water quality general permits on July 20th. Electronic submittals, which could be submitted through STEERS, will be $75, and mailed paper copy submittals will have a $100 fee. And of course, you must set up a STEERS account prior to submitting electronically. And finally, for reference, the TCEQ form number is 20111. And that concludes my update.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. Do we have any questions or comments regarding Brian's CAFO GP update? I don't see anything in the chat. I don't see anybody's hand raised. I don't know if something, if I'm experiencing technical difficulty, but y'all out there in virtual land, please, do something to let me know if I'm missing any of your comments. And then also y'all in person, don't be shy, okay? We're here to have a conversation. All right, well, nothing for you, Brian. Thank you so much. We will move on to Rebecca again. Rebecca, will you talk to us about the small phase 2 MS4 GP?
Okay, so my next update is regarding the small phase 2 MS4 general permit, TXR 040,000, regarding the expected 2024 renewal. So this general permit regulates stormwater discharges from small, or what we also know as phase 2 municipal separate storm sewer systems, or MS4. And the permit expired January 24 of this year. Therefore, the general permit and all authorizations under the general permit have been administratively continued since January 24th. Just in case you haven't heard this, and you're new to listening to us, the renewal process for this general permit started way back in May 22nd. And we had stakeholder meetings and we had EPA review. In the process, EPA updated the urbanized area definition in the rules. So then our permit was revised and approved, and we published in the Texas Register and the Houston Chronicle in August of last year. And we received, of course, comments that were beneficial. We updated the general permit. Then we proceeded to obtain permission for approval to go into adoption for the commissioner's agenda. So for the public comment period, we received comments from 15 entities that were a total of about 100 comments that have been summarized in certain aspects, compiled, combined if they were similar. So they're showing up at around 80 comments in the official executive director's response to comments document that will be available when the permit is sent to commissioner's agenda. So due to the delays in the electronic application system, what we know as NetMS4, that we have been developing with EPA, TCEQ delayed the issuance of the general permit. We want to make sure that once the permit got issued, that the NetMS4 system is ready for everybody to use. So with that being said, we are pleased to say that the NetMS4 system, electronic application system, is in its final stages of being completed. So therefore, we are moving forward with taking the general permit for adoption at the commissioner's agenda on August 14th, just a little bit shy of a month. And we expect that permit, if approved and adopted, to be issued and effective on August 15th, just the very next day. So therefore, all authorizations that are currently granted under the general permit are administratively continued until that permit is renewed on August 15th. At that point, we will start the 180-day renewal period, which is going to be a grace period for entities to go ahead and submit applications for renewal or waivers applicable. And then those new MS4s also will have the opportunity to come in and submit their application using the NetMS4 system electronically. So during this administrative continuance period, MS4 operators need to continue implementing their stormwater management program that has been approved until they go ahead and submit an application and their authorization under the 2024 renewal permit is approved. So therefore, year 5 and year 6 annual reports must continue to be submitted according to the schedules defined in the 2019 general permit. Further guidance is being finalized and will be provided on the TCEQ webpages shortly. And as I said, new MS4 operators will need to seek coverage when the 2024 general permit is renewed. They will also have 180 days to submit an authorization for new permit coverage. Due to the fact that we have a new general permit and the new NetMS4 application system, we are going to be providing a webinar. So TCEQ is coordinating a webinar for training that EPA is going to be the one giving that webinar, that training on the NetMS4 system for the MS4s. We are projecting that that training or webinar will be mid-September We're looking at the week of September 16th potentially. The announcement will be coming out soon to formalize that date. So everybody, that's interested in knowing how to use the Net MS4 application system so that you know how to submit an NOI or the waiver, you should attend that webinar. The recording will be available later on, maybe a month after the webinar, for accessing by everybody. In addition, we are hoping to have maybe in October an in-person training so that we can discuss the permit requirements for the new MS4s, and as well if you have questions on the Net MS4 system. So again, the applications will be due 180 days from the date the permit is effective, which we're hoping it's going to be August 15. You will have 180 days to submit those applications electronically. But prior to submitting the application, you will need to develop your stormwater management program. Either if you're a new MS4, you need to develop it. If you are an existing MS4, then you need to revise it and update it to meet the requirements of the 2024 renewal permit that's going to be issued. So that's the first thing that you need to do, is develop your stormwater management program. Once you have that prepared, then you are going to be ready to submit your application through the Net MS4 system. The Net MS4 system is going to have a series of questions that is going to be asking information that you need to have from your stormwater management program. So you cannot do the NOI first and then do the stormwater management program. It has to be just like we normally do in the past. You need to develop your stormwater management program first so that you have it available and ready to answer the questions that are going to be asked during the application process. And that's the update for the Net MS4 and MS4 General.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I know you heard those chimes. You got quite a few questions. We'll go through it. But I just wanted to really thank you so much for your update. And hey, I just realized that we're wearing green together. Look at that. Great minds. Okay, so Rebecca, first question. But before I get into that, let me acknowledge James. I saw your question in there for the CAFO GP. As soon as we get done with the questions for Rebecca, we'll pivot back to okay before we move on. So, Rebecca, you're in the hot seat. You ready? All right, first question. Hold on, let me scroll back
Can
up.
I have a phone call?
Yeah. Here, which phone?
Somebody from the audience?
Okay, there we go. Yes, you have all three lifelines. Okay, first question, Rebecca. Will the webinar information be posted to the TCEQ permit TXR04 multiple zeros for the phase 2 small MS4 webpage?
Yes.
The answer is yes, Andrea. So thank you so much for that. Let us know if you have any follow-up questions on that one. Rebecca.
And we will also work with small business and local government assistance to send out an advocate newsletter in GovDelivery. So if you have not registered or signed up for GovDelivery or the advocate newsletter, we do recommend that you do that, because as soon as the announcement comes up, you will be able to get that with a link to where to go. But definitely keep checking our web pages, and they will be posted there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Rebecca. All right, Rebecca, next question that we have is, there was talk of an MS4 SWMP template sometime, months back. Is that still being offered with the 2024 permit?
Yeah, so Small Business Local Government Assistance is developing a stormwater management program template. My team has reviewed it, and so they are working on that, and we hope that that will be released shortly after the general permit is issued and effective.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. David, I hope that answered your question. If not, let us know. All right, Rebecca, next question. Is a template going to be available for the stormwater management plan as discussed in prior stakeholder meetings?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Answer is yes, Tiffany. Let us know if you need anything else. All right, Rebecca, will invitations be sent out to current small MS4s for the webinar?
We will be sending out emails as well as announcements and the advocate newsletter, as well as GovDelivery. So please register for those, and also check our web pages periodically for updates.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, Rick, let us know if you have any follow-up questions on that answer. Okay, next question for you, Rebecca, is regarding the MS4 permit for backsliding. If a previously authorized MS4 has implemented and reported on a BMP from the previous permit, is it considered backsliding if they complete the prescriptive BMP or they choose another?
Do they complete it?
Yes. So, oh, I'm so sorry. If they cannot complete the prescriptive BMP or choose another. Let me read the whole question again. I fumbled that. Apologies, Brooke. Regarding the MS4 permit for backsliding, if a previously authorized MS4 has implemented and reported on a BMP from the previous permit, is it considered backsliding if they cannot complete the prescriptive BMP or they choose another?
If they did not complete the BMP that was included in the stormwater management program that was approved under the 2019 general permit, then that is a non-compliance that needs to be addressed because that was part of that existing general permit. For the 2024 general permit, you can go ahead and choose something else that's different or equivalent to continue that. So in certain cases, you do sort of have a blank slate. Not everywhere, but with certain BMP completed, you can go ahead and start, with something else that's equivalent or better, just as effective. But if you didn't finish something, then you will need to either figure out how to revise it to continue that. But just know that not completing it for this permit cycle that just is going to end, then that is a non-compliance.
Thank you. You recovered from my faux earlier. Thank you so much for that, Rebecca. Brooke, I hope that answered your question. Let us know if you have any other that you'd like to ask. All right, Rebecca, stormwater is hot today. Okay, we're still going. All right, is annual reports due at August 15th for the 2019 through 2024 cycle?
Okay, so trying to understand that question, but so we do have a guidance that, as I mentioned in my update, we will be providing online for everybody to see. But basically, right now, you need to be finishing your year 5 or your year 6. And basically, you need to keep going on your current 2019 general permit reporting period and just keep adding to it until the date that you submit your application and obtain approval of that application under the 2024. So for example, if you're going under the calendar year, started January 1st, 2024 of this year, started probably your year 6. So you're going to report all the way until you submit your application. Let's say you submit your application on November of this year, 2024, and it gets approved in December, then that's when you stop your year 6 and your year 1 is going to start at that period. So you continue reporting under your 2019 permit. You continue with, counting a year 5, a year 6. I just identified somebody today that might even have a year 7 because of when their fiscal years are. And if that's the case, you continue reporting like that until your application is submitted and your permit is approved. So it's not just when you submit the application, but when you submit your application and you obtain approval of your new renewal application.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Okay, so let's see, Tiffany,
Sorry, go ahead. And I know that there's different scenarios. There's the calendar year, permit year, fiscal year, and we're moving everything to a calendar year. So if you have any specific questions, feel free to send us an email. It is wgp@tcq.texas.gov mailbox, and we'll be happy to address your different situations to make sure that you are clear on what you need to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Just a minute, virtual world. Let me acknowledge the people in person. I have not neglected y'all. If y'all have answers, we'll get there. You don't have to hold your hand up, but I promise y'all come back. Okay, so Rebecca, you're still in. All right.
This is not the Rebecca agenda.
Listen, stormwater's hot today. We got to serve the people. They came with it. I'm so glad that y'all are engaging with us. Thank you. Thank you. Don't let them outdo you, real world people. Like the virtual land is on it. Okay, Rebecca. Will the MS4 area, urbanized area, be expanded, or is our area for this term the same as last term?
Okay, so first of all, the term urbanized area no longer exists. The rules were updated last year to now call it an urban area with a population of 50,000 or more. So you first have to identify if you are located within an urban area with a population of 50,000 people or more. So if you are located in that urban area that has a population, then you need to see what your MS4 area is within that piece. Are you partially in there or fully in there? And that's a population that then you need to count to determine if you are going to be at level 1, 2, 3, or 4 under the general permit. But you would be regulated. So it's, in some cases, some of the urban areas with a population of 50,000 or more have increased. In some cases, they have changed. But once regulated, I was regulated. So if you have been regulated under the 2010 urbanized area that existed at the time, or the 2000 urbanized area that existed at the time, then even now, even though maybe now you are not falling in urban area of 50,000 people or more, you are still going to be regulated. So hopefully that's clear. But again, that's a question that we do get often. So it is a little bit complicated if you're new to these terms. So please feel free to send us again an email at swgp@tcq.texas.gov, and we will go ahead and be happy to look at your situation, specifically look at the maps and give you better guidance as to what area you are falling under and what needs to be covered under your stormwater management program.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Great question, Roger. Mindy, we're going to move on to you. And so Mindy wants for you, or asking that you restate the webinar dates for versus the October date.
Okay, so we're looking at EPA providing the webinar on net MS4 to the MS4s in the middle of September. We haven't finalized the date or formalized the date, but we are looking at hopefully being the week of September 16, maybe the following week. So that's when it'll be. Now we're looking at having an in-person training that is not going to be just net MS4, but also is going to be explaining the general permit requirements specifically for new MS4s that are coming into the fold. That we're hoping to have an in-person meeting middle or end of October.
Thank you, Rebecca. Martin Miller, our pre-treatment homie, he asks, will the same process be used for phase 1 MS4 applications in the future?
I don't know about phase 1 applications, but phase 1 annual reports, yes. So we are going to be, after we finish developing the net MS4 application system for the phase 2s, then we're going to start the process with the TA and their contractors to build up the annual reporting piece for the phase 2 MS4s. Once we finish that, then we'll proceed with the phase 1 MS4 annual reporting piece. So that's for sure in our future, but the individual applications so far, we don't have any thoughts on moving them yet to net MS4.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Andrea wants to ask if you can clarify where to sign up for the mentioned newsletter again, or the updates for the notification on the webinars, or.
So it would be the advocate newsletter. So I don't remember the website, but we do have a website at TCEQ that you can go in and register to receive guided delivery emails on various topics, stormwater, air, wastewater, industrial hazardous waste, whatever you want. You can click those options and you will then receive emails and the advocate newsletter giving you information and updates. But you can still go into our stormwater permits webpage and check there. We will also include the information there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Andrea, if you're unable to find that, send me an email. We'll walk you through it. I know it can be a bit tedious, but we'll get you what you need, okay? So feel free to send me an email, first name, last name, at tceq.texas.gov. All right, real world, y'all good? You still with us? Okay. I'll get to you. Let me honor these people, but I promise I'm coming back to you, Ashley. Okay, still it, Rebecca, right?
Okay.
Okay. What is the PY1 timeframe under the 2024 general permit?
PY1 time. So that's going to be the date that you obtain permit coverage under the 2024 general permit. So if you submit your application in November of this year, and then we approve it 2 or 3 weeks later, when we approve it, that begins your year 1, your date. And you will go to the end of the year 1 of the calendar year. So we're doing that. So it'll be December 31st, 2024. So you're going to have a very short 1 year. And right now, this is something that we're still confirming with the EPA. Again, the annual report piece has not been developed yet in NetMS4. So some of this is still subject to change. But we have been told that we couldn't have a longer 1 year in the electronic reporting system. So therefore, the first year might be a really tiny first year, depending on when you submit your application. But if you submit your application, since it's August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So we issue it on August 15, then the 6-month renewal period will end on February 14 of 2024. So if you submit your application in January and you get it approved in January, then that's when your year 1 will start, because it's a calendar year, and you will go all the way through December 31st of 2025, and you will report in March of 2026.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Okay, next question for you. Tiffany said that she was told from another permit writer that if a BMP is considered complete, we would not need to fulfill those requirements, and it's considered complete. Let me just, so that Rebecca's nodding her head, Tiffany, it sounds like it's a good thing, but please feel free to reach out to Rebecca. Y'all can continue that conversation and get that clarification that's needed outside of it, okay? All right, Liz wants to know when the PY5 continuation annual report to TCEQ, when is that? 90 days from August 15th, or is it something else? The PY5 continuation annual report.
So right now, those that are under the permit year 5, you will then, when the permit year ends, it already ended on January 24, 2024. So year 5 ended already for you on January 24. So right now you're operating under year 6. So year 5 should have already been submitted on March of this year.
Okay. And then the follow-up to that, Rebecca, is it still in paper form, not the NetMS4 system? Okay.
So yes, the annual reports for year 5, 6, or 7, however many, depending on the type of year that you currently have under the 2019 general permit, yes, you need to continue to submit those annual reports via paper to TCEQ with a copy to the regional office where you are located.
All right. Brooke, I'm going to pass over because I think you'll follow up with Rebecca on that clarification that you need for that, but feel free to let me know if you have any, if you want to talk about it now. Send another question. David wants to ask you, Rebecca, did you say that unattained/unattainable BMPs be changed annually or just when we move from one permit to another?
You can go ahead and do notices of change for BMPs if it's something that is allowed under a minimum control measure under those activities. Some of them you do not have a choice, but others you do. If something's not effective, you can go ahead and pick a different one that's equivalent or better.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. We're getting there. We're almost at the end. Okay. So just hang with me. We have a follow-up question or a comment from Rick. He says, it sounds like year 1 reporting of the 2024 MS4 permit will have 1 full year with sun months in 2024 included, depending on when the NOI is submitted.
Okay, not exactly. So like I said, we're going to confirm because we're still working with EPA on the annual reporting piece of this NetMS4. But right now we are being told that you cannot have a long year in that MS4. So if that's the case, year one is going to potentially be a very short year for some of you if you submit your application prior to December 31st of this year. If you submit your application in January of next year, then your first year is going to be that full calendar year of 2025. But you're not going to have a 14, 15 month year one because of what we're being told in that MS4 and how that works right now.
Just a couple more. All right, so John is asking, do the current phase 2 MS4 permittees have 90 days from the approved date of their NOI to submit their final year 6 annual report? Do the current phase 2 MS4 permittees have 90 days from the approval date of their NOI to submit their final year 6 annual report?
I'm trying to understand your questions. I think, at least in my head, you're mixing up things, but if you have a year 6, you need to submit it, within 90 days of, whenever you are supposed to finish your reporting period. So that's correct. That's regardless of what you do with your 2024 NOI. When you submit your 2024 NOI and it gets approved, then you start year 1. So that's, that's independent of what you're doing with your year 5 or 6 right now.
Okay, awesome. John, if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to the guru. Rebecca's here for you. You can reach out to her directly and she'll talk with you more about that. Macy, good looking out, TCEQ family. Macy posted in the chat how to sign up for our advocate newsletter. So please check that out if you're interested. Thank you so much, Macy. And okay, Rebecca, final question. What are the expectations for completing BMPs in the shorter PY1?
That is a good question, and I'll have to reflect on that and,
That's cool.
and digest it and provide a response.
All right, so Julian, we will follow up with you, okay? So Rebecca will follow up with you, but great question. Thank you so much. Hey, virtual world, y'all came through. That was so exciting, so much fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Why
thank
do
you,
I
thank you.
win?
Oh yeah, I got you. We'll figure that out, okay? Bravo. All right, real world, any questions? Oh yes, Ashley.
Or a waiver depending on how the population changed. If their population decreased, they could still be regulated because they're worried the urbanized area, but the population now decreased because unfortunately a tornado went by and a lot of people left town. So they could then qualify for a waiver, or maybe instead of a level 3, there might be a level 2 or a level 1.
Real quick, Ashley, can you come close to the microphone so we can hear your question? Rebecca, can you restate what that question was? I'm pretty sure they could hear your answer, but or Ashley, yeah, you can restate your first question.
So my question was, if a city is no longer in an urbanized area as the 2020 census, do they still need to seek coverage under the renewed permit?
Okay.
Rebecca's answer was yes.
Yes.
Okay, second question. I think you kind of answered this in a lot of detail already, but should a permit holder, an existing permit holder from the 2019 issued permit, complete the BMPs for this year under the 2019 permit for the entire year? Or
Yes.
That's based on when you submit your new NOI?
And so the BMPs that are not an ongoing, something that like street sweeping that has to be ongoing, something that has a definitive date, you were supposed to have completed that BMP within the 5-year permit cycle.
Okay.
And that's what I said. If something was not completed, definitely document the reasons why, but that is a non-compliance of the permit because they should have been completed.
I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashley. Any other questions, y'all? Don't be shy. The virtual world is, yes, come on, but you got to come up here, okay?
I'm just wondering for the draft permit that was posted, is that the same version that's going to the commissioners, or were there any changes?
A good question. So when we took the permit last September for public notice, that is a proposed general permit. We received comments, so because of the comments, we did revise the permit. We take every comment, to heart and really try to figure out how we can address it. So the draft or the proposed permit has been revised. So what we are taking to commissioner's agenda is slightly different than what was proposed, and which is the one that's posted. You should be able to look at the permit that we are proposing to go to commissioner's agenda on August 14th. Hopefully the beginning of August. It's called backup agenda. So if you go to the agenda for the August 14th agenda date, it's going to be a PDF document. If you click on that, it'll open up the PDF document. You go down to our item number, go find the MS4 Phase 2 General Permit docket number. You click on that, it's going to open up everything. It's going to open up memos, the fact sheet, the response to comments, as well as the general permit. So you will be able to view that even before it goes to commissioner's agenda. So that's going to be the latest and greatest. Of course, the commissioners have the ability to tell us if they want something changed. So we never go by that version either until it's the one that's officially signed and effective, because sometimes we do have a little nuances, but it will be different. So don't go exactly by what's proposed and posted. It has changed, not drastically, but it has changed in various sections considerably.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. All right. Yo, Rebecca, you killed it.
There's one question.
Oh
that I
my
need to
gosh. I mean, the award of all rewards for the water quality work group. Yeah, I'm getting with Greg. We are going to crown you. You did that. High five. All right. Awesome.
do, even though I need one.
What? Oh, you wait, what? What do you
I
mean?
have one question.
Oh, you have a question?
No, that I need to answer. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's still, I mean, you still killed it. So you're gonna, Julian, she's got you, okay? All right, as promised, I have
And
to.
thank you for that question. That's a good one.
Yes, great question, Julian. All right, as promised, I gotta scroll all the way back up. Brian, you're back in the hot seat, okay? So James wants to know, Brian, if you can summarize the primary changes to the CAFO-GP, or would you like to follow up with him and provide that later? Whatever
I'm
you.
gonna let Rebecca.
I'm not in that.
There's two changes. One's the addition of requirements associated with the use of an anaerobic digester at a CAFO site. And these are the same requirements that are currently included in an individual permit for a CAFO that's utilizing the digester for their operation. And then the other one is allow for rainfall amount data from NOAA and to revise the definition of the designed rainfall event to include NOAA. And that's it.
So thank you so much for answering that question, Brian. James, let us know if you have anything else that you'd like to add. And going twice, we're going to move on into the agenda. We twisted it up a little bit, but hey, Dr. Cole Gray is here. It's okay. You don't owe nobody an explanation. I got you. You ready to talk about your two items?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Apologies, everyone. Again, I got the dates confused.
It happens. We're so glad you're here.
Okay, so oil and gas general permit updates. So background information. TCEQ was transferred permitting authority for discharges into surface waters of the state for gas plants and oil and gas extraction facilities by House Bill 2771, which was during the 86th legislation session in 2019. TCEQ obtained TPDS authorization from EPA effective January 15th, 2021. Via a revised memorandum of agreement. And as a reminder, we did not gain authority for disposal of wastewater from oil and gas activities the land application, which still remains under the Railroad Commission. So the general permit for hydrostatic discharges, TXG 6,700,000, was amended and reissued to include crude oil and natural gas hydrostatic test discharges. New crude oil, natural gas pipelines and vessels are automatically authorized under the GP, provided it has been read and the terms and conditions are complied with. No requirements are needed to submit an NOI under those conditions. Existing crude oil and natural gas pipeline vessels that contain crude oil or raw natural gas products can now file an administrative NOI electronically and get immediate authorization. So as of today, we have, for individual oil and gas authorizations, we have 58 issued authorizations under the general permit for hydrostatic test discharges, 17 issued individual oil and gas TIFDs permits, and 11 pending individual oil and gas TIFDs permit applications. In terms of implementation activities, TCEQ has drafted and issued 2 general permits for oil and gas extraction facilities, discharges into surface waters of the state. That includes TXG 31,100,000 under the TIFDs program, as well as WQG 2,800,000 under state-only authority. TXG 3,100,000 replaces EPA's general permits, TXG 2,600,000 and TXG 3,300,000, as well as individual Railroad Commission authorizations. WQG 2,800,000 replaces individual Railroad Commission permit authorizations. The monthly discharge monitoring reports can be submitted via net DMR system for TXG 3,100,000. And since WQG 2,800,000 is a state-only permit, monthly effluent reports will need to be submitted via paper copy to TCEQ's compliance monitoring team. MER templates can be found on TCEQ's website by searching TCEQ MERs or searching form TCEQ 20708. The TXG 3,100,000 and WQG 2,800,000 general permits were approved and issued by the Commission on January 10th, 2024, and are currently available for coverage. That is pretty much it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gray. Appreciate you. I don't see any questions for you in the chat, but we'll wait just a second. Anybody in person have a question for Dr. Gray? All right, going once, going twice. I see nothing. I see nothing in the chat. Thank you so much for your update, Dr. Gray. But hey, Rebecca, back by popular demand. Got more questions for you, okay? All right, ready? Yes, right? I know, we're almost there. This is so much fun though, right? Like the award of all awards, you're winning, you've won. Okay, so.
It's fun as long as I know the answer.
Okay, like you don't know the answer. Okay, so annual report 6 and 7 will continue to be mailed to TCEQ and not submitted through the new system. So you want to answer that, or do you want me to continue with the rest? Because there's more there. Okay,
I'll answer that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's correct. Currently, there's not a reporting tool in that MS4 for annual reports yet. So you will need to submit your annual reports by paper, mail it to TCEQ in Austin with a copy to the regional office.
Okay, continuation on that. If fiscal year, then our year 7 is 3 months. A lot of goals may not be completed due to a 3-month period, potentially until the new permit is approved. Will this particular site be out of compliance for not meeting their goals in the 2019 permit in this situation? All right.
You can follow up with me, but based on what I understood, I'm a visual person, but based on what I understood, yes, because the year 5 ended on January 24, 2024. So then that's when the permit finished. And so your year 5 should have finished everything. If you didn't complete everything within that permit cycle, then that's when the non-compliance will trigger, but you need to continue implementing, doing the ongoing activities, doing everything you can to document the good faith effort and proceed with what you need to do.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. And Tiffany, follow up with Rebecca with any specific details and we'll talk through it. But thank you for answering that question. Okay, so I don't see anything else stormwater related. So you're back out the hot seat, but hey, your team is still it. So next, let's hear from Hannah on the multi-sector general permit 2025 amendment.
Okay, so the multi-sector general permit amendment, or also known as the MSGP or TXRO 50,000, regulates stormwater discharges from industrial activities and is set to expire on August 14th of 2026. TCEQ recently initiated an amendment without renewal to the permit to address the two following items. Firstly, to implement House Bill 1688 from the 88th regular legislative session, which was made effective in September of 2023, in order to prohibit quarries located within water quality protection areas from obtaining stormwater coverage under this general permit. And secondly, to implement House Bill 2771 from the 86th regular legislative session, which was made effective on January 15th of 2021, to expand the applicability for non-exempt oil and gas activities. Currently, this general permit excludes stormwater runoff from industrial activities associated with the exploration, development, or production of oil or gas or geothermal resources, including the transportation of crude oil or natural gas by pipeline. This provision is in response to the transfer of state and federal regulatory authority to TCEQ for discharges associated with crude oil and natural gas exploration, development, and production facilities. The purpose of this amendment is to prohibit quarries that are located within the new Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway from obtaining stormwater coverage under this general permit. To include in the general permit applicable non-exempt stormwater discharges from industrial activities that are associated with crude oil and natural gas exploration, development, and production, and also to replace the EPA-issued NPDES MSGP TXR05 F000, which was made effective September 29th of 2021 and is set to expire on February 28th of 2026. Major proposed changes include revising limitations on permit coverage to include that quarries located in the new Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway are not authorized the discharge of stormwater runoff as described in the state statute under Texas Water Code Section 26.553. The expansion of the applicability of the general permit to include non-exempt stormwater discharges from certain oil and gas activities. And also to clarify that operators with active authorizations under this existing general permit, which was made effective on August 14th of 2021, will not be required to submit new or renewal NOIs or notice of intents, and are authorized to continue to discharge under the terms and the conditions of the existing TCEQ 2021 MSGP. As an update, or also to include before we get to the update, operators that are currently authorized under the EPA-issued NPDES MSGP will be required to obtain authorization under TCEQ's amended general permit within 90 days of the effective date of the amended general permit. So as a more recent update, after management briefings and approval, TCEQ sent the draft general permit documents to EPA for their 90-day in review and approval on April 22nd of 2024. We received EPA's approval on June 23rd of 2024, and no major comments were received. We are currently in the proposal stage of the amendment process and are preparing to brief management to obtain permission to publish the public notice. Publication is tentatively scheduled for October 10th, 2024 in both the Texas Register and the Houston Chronicle to start the 30-day public comment period on the proposed general permit. We are tentatively scheduled to issue the amended general permit in late spring of 2025. Please note that this permit amendment will not have any impact on existing permittees. The expiration date will also not change. For more information about exempt oil and gas activities, as well as a non-exhaustive list of exempt oil and gas activities and sites, you may visit the EPA NIPD's oil and gas stormwater permitting webpage, which will also be provided in the meeting notes. And that concludes the end of my update.
Good job, Hannah. Thank you so much. Is this your first time presenting or your second time? Second time? You killed it. Great job, Hannah. All right. Any questions for Hannah? I don't see any in the chat. Any in-person questions? No? Going once, going twice? All right. No questions. Hey, smooth sailing. Wait, but Dr. Cole, is this your first time presenting? No? Okay, well, you killed it too, okay? I love the new faces here. Okay, Monica, you ready to talk about the queries and certain water quality protection areas?
Yes. So in early 2023, TCEQ started the renewal process for the general permit TXG 50,000, currently known as the John Graves Quarries General Permit. The existing general permit regulates stormwater and wastewater discharges from quarries in the John Graves Scenic Riverway portion of the Brazos River Basin and expired back in March 29th, 2024. The renewal process was delayed due to the implementation of House Bill 1688 during the 88th regular legislative session, which amended the Texas Water Code, Chapter 26, Subchapter M, pertaining to the water quality protection areas. And it did so by expanding the pilot program that was originally established for the John Graves Scenic Riverway and the Brazos River Basin to now include the new Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway and the Colorado River Basin. The Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway is defined in the bill as the South Llano River in Kimball County, located upstream of the river's confluence with the North Llano River at the city of Junction. The changes to this general permit include renaming the general permit to the Quarries in Certain Water Quality Protection Areas General Permit, adding a definition for Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway, and modify the existing definition of water quality protection areas to encompass the new water quality protection areas of the Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway, modifying permit applicability language to encompass quarries within the new water quality protection areas of the Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway, and expand the permitting and financial assurance requirements for those quarries. And lastly, modifying permit expiration language to explain, since the pilot program is extended 2 years and now expires on September 1st, 2027. Since the rulemaking was not completed prior to the expiration of the general permit, TCEQ published on December 29th, 2023, the notice of intent to reissue in the Texas Register and provide a notification to permittees of the administrative continuance. Please note that while the current general permit cycle expired back in March 29th, the general permit and the 6 existing authorizations would be administratively continued until the rulemaking to implement House Bill 1688 and the general permit renewal are completed. After management briefings and approval, TCEQ sent the draft general permit to EPA for their review and approval on March 22nd, 2024. EPA approved the draft general permit on June 4th, 2024, and no formal comments were received. Yay. And after management approval, TCEQ is currently working to publish the public notice on August 9th, 2024 in the Texas Register and Houston Chronicle, on August 10th, 2024 in the Weatherford Democrat for the John Graves area, and on August 14th, 2024 in the Junction Eagle for the Coke-Stevenson area. The 30-day public comment period will end on September 14th, 2024. And we are tentatively scheduled to issue the renewed general permit in February of 2025. Are there any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Monica. Is this your first time presenting or?
Yes.
You did amazing.
Thank you.
Bravo. I don't see any questions in the chat. We'll give it a moment. Y'all got shy? It's still stormwater. This is still stormwater. We were hot earlier. Okay. I don't see any questions for you, Monica. You killed it. Great
you.
job. Amazing, amazing. Rebecca, you really got your team like prepared and they did a phenomenal job today. We're going back to you for this final update before we do the Q&A session, okay? So what would you like to share regarding the 30 Chat 311 update?
Okay, so my last update today is regarding the rulemaking for 30 TAC Chapter 311, Subchapter H. So as you've heard before, we started the rulemaking based on House Bill 1688, effective on September 1st, 2023, from the 88th legislative session. So this House bill amends Texas Water Code Chapter 26, Subchapter M, regarding the water quality protection areas in Texas. They have expanded the pilot program that was originally established for quarries in the John Graves Scenic Riverway to now include the new Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway. The Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway is defined as the South Llano River in Kimball County, located upstream of the river's confluence with the North Llano River in the city of Junction. The bill establishes the same requirements for quarries that are going to be located in the Coke-Stevenson Scenic Riverway as the existing statute requires for the quarries in the John Graves Scenic Riverway. So therefore, they're requiring permitting, either individual permit or general permit based on the proximity to the river. Also financial responsibility, inspection, sampling, cost recovery, and enforcement programs. The bill also extends the pilot program by 2 years to expire on September 1st, 2027, instead of September 1st, 2025. The proposed rule was presented for adoption at the June 26, 2024 Commissioner's agenda, and it was adopted. The adopted rule was published just last week in the July 12th issue of the Texas Register, and it has an effective date of July 18th, which is this Thursday. That's the update on this rule. And so because of that rule, now we're able to proceed with the 2 general permits that you just heard, the MSGP amendment, the quarries general permit, and as well as the updates to the construction general permit applications that I just started with my update earlier today. So all those things were triggered based on the implementation of this bill, 1688, in this rulemaking. So now we have a rule that has 2 protected areas for quarries in Texas.
Awesome, Rebecca. I don't see any questions for you in the chat. Whew, very interesting. I don't know what happened. What's going on, y'all? Don't be shy. Y'all were really live earlier. Any questions for us in person regarding the 311 update? Going once, going twice? No? Okay. Well, again, I'm just filling in for Greg. He'll be back. This is just a temporary gig. But now we're at the Q&A portion, the question and answers. Y'all were already asking a lot of questions earlier. Don't be shy. Now is your time. Do y'all have any questions for us?
On anything.
On anything? Oop, eek, I flinched. A little shaky. Nothing. Okay. Y'all still there? I mean, can you hear us online? Y'all thinking about it in person? Like, this is your time. You don't have to be shy. Okay. Going once, going twice. All right. Well, we have concluded the official portion of our meeting. I do want to take a point of note in Greg's absence to say that our next Water Quality Advisory Workgroup meeting will be October 15th at 1:30 p.m. We might be back in the agenda room by then, but if not, same place, same channel. But we look forward to officially meeting with y'all then. But don't be a stranger. If we can be of any assistance or support, feel free to reach out to us. We're here for y'all in between now and October 15th. Also, please attend the CMOM conference, okay? It's coming up a little bit. It's a great way to just stay in the know. Wastewater is so important. We have a very important job that we protect the public, and the CMOM conference addresses a lot of the critical functions that we have to deal with in wastewater. So consider going there. All right, well, adjourn. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. Thank y'all. Later. Okay, thank you for coming, Peter.
Yeah,
Probably
it's
six,
really
thank
good.
you.
Okay.
Okay, great. It's okay, you have me nervous, y'all have me nervous, but.
I thought it was Thursday.